UFC Fight Night. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres just wrapped up. Uh, Insane card. It was full of exciting fights from top to bottom. So, without further ado, let's just get into the main event. That fight is a true comeback fight for Rafael Fiziev, dude. I thought he was on his way out. I mean, the way he looked in his past few fights, it wasn't the best. He's coming off of like a torn ACL a year or two ago, and then he gets destroyed by Rufy, and he kind of just gets like outworked by Gaethje. So, he's on the downside, and everyone's thinking, oh, Manuel Torres is coming up. He's this freak. He's going to be like the next up at lightweight. He's got insane KO power. First round, Fiziev comes out aggressive, puts Torres on the back foot, attempts some takedowns, and it's going well for him. But a lot of people assume that Fiziev was going to do that in the first round, where he was going to try to shut him down. But then when it went later on, where Fiziev kind of has a suspect gas tank, we weren't really sure what was going to happen. But the second round starts, he comes out, he throws a wheel kick. It lands against the guard of Manuel Torres. Torres goes down. Fiziev follows up with some nasty ground and pound and TKOs him early on in the second. That was a beautiful, beautiful performance from Rafael Fiziev. I mean, there's no better way he could have won that. He won the first round pretty convincingly, and then the second round just completely put him out cold. That was incredible performance. Reminded a lot of people who Rafael Fiziev was. I'm not going to lie, dude. I was respecting Fiziev a lot. I thought he was completely cooked. I didn't think he had even a shot in hell of winning this. But, he did. He won that fight. And now he's looking at a lightweight division that's kind of wide open at the moment. Because Gaethje's champ, he's not going to be around much longer. Fiziev has had some competitive fights with him in the past. So, he probably looks at that and he feels confident in himself. So now that he beats a young up-and-coming guy, although he just lost to Rufy, I say give him the loser of like a Paddy Pimblett versus a BSD. Let him get a shot towards the top of the division again. I think it's time to kind of cash all your chips in on the Fiziev train if you're the UFC, because he's wicked entertaining. He's never had like a boring fight in the UFC. It's just, he's had some bad luck, but now's the time. Looks like he's on the up and up, and we could definitely see a Rafael Fiziev get a top 5 opponent in his next fight. But yeah, incredible performance. But let's get into the co-main event. It was Shara Bullet versus Michel Pereira. Not the greatest fight of all time, but there's bits and pieces that you can be proud of if you're a Shara Bullet. First round, though, Michel Pereira bombs him while he goes for a leg kick. I mean, we've been seeing that a lot recently. Someone throws a blind kick, you punish that. You crash in, you go for the straight right, and it worked perfectly. Michel Pereira dropped him, almost gets a 10-8, but Shara reverses the position in the last 30 seconds and gets some ground and pound. So that was a pretty easy Michel Pereira round. But then, of course, inevitably, he only has one round of cardio, so he comes out in the second round. I don't think he threw a punch or a kick for 3 whole minutes, and Shara just racked up points the whole round, completely outscored him, and was just doing really well there. The body work from Shara Magomedov was playing dividends, because that was punishing Pereira, who's got a very bad gas tank in the first place. But you could see Pereira was trying to get himself back into the fight, take some time off, get his gas back. But when you're getting hit in the midsection a lot, it's not easy to catch your breath. It's not easy to get some of that cardiovascular endurance back. So Shara Magomedov takes the second round pretty easily, but then the third round, it was pretty close, man. Michel Pereira gets eye poked, so he gets a little bit of time to relax, but then he comes back and he moves forward aggressively, and I'm thinking Michel Pereira might win this round. There's like a minute left. It's an extremely close third round, and I was leaning towards Pereira, but then Shara Bullet lands a big knee to the body, and you could see it visibly hurt Pereira. I mean, he backed up all the way across the octagon, and Shara put on the pressure, threw some heavy body kicks. Pereira was like stumbling. He kept tripping over his feet. It wasn't like he was rocked. It wasn't like he was going to go down from the body shots or whatever. But you could tell he was really hurt. So Shar had the more visible damage in that round, and that kind of saved the fight for him because honestly, I thought Michel Pereira was winning that third round up until that point. But one of the bigger stories of this is Herb Dean did not take a point from Shar Magomedov for the eye poke after previously warning him if he did a single more foul, if he fouled Michel Pereira one more time, he was going to take a point. And he did not take a point. So, Herb Dean, I think we need to Blood Eagle him on International Fight Week, like out front of T-Mobile. We'll just crucify him in front of the fans at the Fan Fest, you know what I mean? You know how they do like the meet and greets, like Dustin Poirier is always there, stuff like that? How about instead we just have Herb Dean's lifeless corpse decorating? But, that's neither here nor there. Just kind of a shitty decision from Herb Dean. We've been seeing a lot of that recently. But good performance from Shar Magomedov. I don't really know what to do with him because it's like he beats all these not great guys at middleweight. So maybe give him like a Kyle Dawkins. I don't know. Give him someone to start to build some name value. But moving down to Nazim Sadikov versus Mateusz Camillo. I mean, dude, I think Nazim Sadikov might have just got the biggest fraud check in history. Because Faresiam was a ranked fighter, so it's not like the worst loss in the world. But, dude, Nazim Sadikov walked out aura farming, pretending to be this freak of nature. I mean, he had an insane fight with Nicholas Mata last year. So I was thinking, he can take all this damage and he can come back and he can win a fight if he needs to. But Mateusz Camillo drops him with a slick right down the middle, and then just smashes him with like 15 unanswered shots. And then Nazim Sadikov has the gall to be like, well, that's an early stoppage. You were in fetal position just eating punches. All right, that's not intelligently defending yourself. Covering up isn't intelligently defending yourself. You need to actively try to either improve position or avoid shots. You can't just sit there and cover up. But yeah, great performance from Mateusz Camillo. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the guy that called out Chase Hooper. I think he was talking shit about Chase Hooper. So I say give him the Chase Hooper fight. After that, now he has two good names in lightweight on his resume, names that people know. So then you can start to build Mateusz Camillo up. But yeah, good performance. He looked very confident. He just did what he was supposed to, avoided all the shots. I think Nazim Sadikov was like 0 for 16 on strikes. So he was very defensively sound, and then he landed that big right down the middle and finished it with ground and pound. Great performance from Mateusz Camillo. Moving down to Asu Amabaya versus Charles Johnson. Flyweight fights are the best fights. I mean, I've never seen like a very boring flyweight bout. I've seen not great ones, but I haven't seen unentertaining ones. This fight was high-paced, and it was a lot of mixed martial arts. Asu Amabayev, his takedowns tonight were sick. Charles Johnson, the way he kept getting back to his feet, that was incredible, man. The heart that he displayed getting back up every single time, that can't be denied. The striking was also surprisingly pretty good from Asu Amabayev. Because, I mean, he's not the worst striker in the world, but we're not acting like he's Joshua Van levels. But he came out aggressive, headhunting. He wanted the finish all night long. He was looking for opportunities to improve every single position he was in. Charles Johnson, I mean, he looked good, but I think there was a little bit of, like, just a game plan problem. Because he was throwing a lot of stupid fucking kicks. I mean, I criticized Justin Gaethje for this in the Ilia Topuria fight. When you're getting backed up against the cage and like you're behind the black line and they're putting the pressure on you and you're throwing like leg kicks and body kicks, that's not working. That is not a good good game plan. It's not going to afford you anything else than like just throwing hands would. All right? And Charles Johnson kept doing that, and it just kept not working out. And even his corner in the third round were like, hey, dude, you got to stop throwing blind kicks. You need to stick to your boxing, all right? You need to look for the knockout. And he wouldn't do it. He kept going for stupid shit, throwing knees up the middle. I mean, usually Charles Johnson in the third round pulls some fucking wild black magic sorcery out to KO some future title challenger. But in this fight, Asal Mabayev just looked absolutely incredible. His grappling was sick. His defense was very good. The way he snatched up that Soloyev stretch, the Benez split, and the waning moments of the third round, that was very good. I mean, Charles Johnson was trying to shake him off, and Asu just snatched that. So, yeah, great performance from Asal Mabayev. I'm not really positive what to do with him next, because he's beaten a lot of the other guys at flyweight, but the people above him, it's like kind of a weird matchup. I think he's number 9 right now at flyweight, so I'll try to figure out what to do with him in the matchmaking video. But yeah, great performance from Asal Mabayev, and for Charles Johnson, just got to get back to the drawing board. Next up, we had Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira. I picked Bruno Ferreira by KO. Ikram Aliskerov is chinny. He's been knocked out before in both of his losses. But, I mean, his defense was elite tonight. He could not get hit clean by Bruno Ferreira. I mean, Bruno was jabbing him up. I'll give him that. But he could not find the home for that right hand all night long. He was just kind of getting bullied in the striking. Ikram looked really, really good on the feet tonight. He looked very clean. He was landing consistently all night long. So, a great performance from Ikram Aliskerov. Again, another guy where it's like, I don't really know what to do with him. He already lost to Robert Whittaker, but then he's beating all of these shit guys. So you're like, do we give him another shot at the rankings? And I say, yeah. I say give him a ranked fight next. But, you know, all has to wait for the rankings video, or the matchmaking video. But next up, we had Abus Magomedov taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. This was an incredible win for Abus Magomedov. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk isn't the highest level fighter in the world, but he was on a 3-fight win streak. All right, 2 of them were KOs. He was looking really good coming into this. And then Abus Magomedov was just too defensively sound. He was skating around. He was landing very good. That right hand was landing quite often. And then Mikhail Oleksiejczuk jumps in for some crazy explosion, you know. And Abus Magomedov quickly goes for the elbow, the step-in elbow, and it slices across the jaw of Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. It drops him, and then he follows up with some crazy ground and pound. And while Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is trying to keep tight, not afford for any opportunities for damage, Abus jumps on the neck, almost into like a Peruvian necktie type situation, but it's more of like a modified guillotine, and chokes out Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I think he went out cold after he tapped, sort of like Poirier versus Makhachev. But yeah, incredible performance from Abus Magomedov. He was ranked a few fights ago. He lost it to Joe Pyfer, and this is a good bounce back win. You know, middleweights kind of got a lot of these guys right outside the rankings that I think could be ranked. But, you know, middleweight's such like a iffy division right now that I say give Abus another fight outside the rankings and then give him another shot at the rankings. All right? I think he's more of a gatekeeper type situation. I don't think he's cut out for the ranked opposition. But, you know, incredible performance. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But, you know, let's get into the prelims. All things considered, the main card was pretty good. Most of them were, like, finishes. But then the prelims were wicked good. Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan. I picked Farman Hassanov. This guy is a wrestler. All right, he didn't do a lot of fighting in this matchup, but he did do a lot of wrestling. All right. If you have ever wrestled in the past, or if you've ever done any sort of grappling, you know how impressive Farman Hassanov is, because the way he was getting to Eric Nolan's like hips and the way he was shooting takedowns was super good. He wrestled for a solid 7 minutes, just consistently, aggressively. That's a full wrestling match. That like there's like 2-minute periods in wrestling. So he wrestled for 6 minutes straight, 7 minutes straight, 6 or 7 minutes straight, and it was incredible. He was doing really good. But then, of course, he gassed out because it is incredibly hard to wrestle that aggressively for even a full 6 minute wrestling match. But he even went past that. And then, of course, when he got back to the feet, he was real gassed out at the end of the second round. Eric Nolan looked to be working himself back into the fight. But after the break going into the third round, he came back a little bit rejuvenated. He got that breather in, and he won the third round again with a good takedown. He didn't do a lot of damage, not at all right? There's a lot of holes in his game. One, he can't strike for shit. Two, he has a little bit of a gas tank problem. And three, he does allow his opponents to work themselves back to the feet. But the pros for Farman Hassanov is this guy is like just a elite wrestler. Like, that is elite wrestling right there. It's not MMA wrestling. That is like Olympic level. All right, maybe not Olympic level, but you know what I mean, Olympic style wrestling. MMA wrestling would be more like Islam Makhachev, where you're looking for opportunities, or an Arman Saryukin, where you're looking for opportunities to damage or go for a finish. All right, that's all Farman Hassanov has to develop. This is his first fight in the UFC. I think he's like 6-0 or something. He's not been fighting for a long time, so I think he can definitely improve. I think they might have said he trains at American Top Team sometimes. Not positive, but if you train there, eventually you're gonna learn how to go for finishes on the ground. So I believe Farman Hassanov can definitely improve in the future and start to finish his opponents. And for Eric Nolan, I mean, he just got outworked. He tried to pull the dog out in the third round, but he didn't have the gas either. I mean, dude, props to him for getting up from all those takedowns. Again, if you've ever wrestled before, you know that the hardest thing to do is to keep getting up while you're getting mat returned. It is so fucking tiring. But Eric Nolan, he tried his hardest. He went all the way to the decision, so you can't fault him on that. But good decision good performance from Farman Hassanov to get the decision. Moving on to Abdul Rahman Yakhayev versus Juicebox Julius Walker. I'm not going to lie, I thought this was the quickest finish in UFC history. Of course, it's 2 seconds off from the record, but holy shit. I saw a comment the other day, I think it was a tweet. Julius Walker couldn't strike if someone held a gun to his head, and that's true. He came in with the shittiest setup I've ever seen and got boomed with a one punch and just immediately went down. The fight could have been stopped then, but he followed up with ground and pound. So 4 seconds in, Abdul Rahman Yakhayev pretty much got the KO, but of course he followed up with the ground and pound. I think he's, 10-0, 9-0 now in his career. He looks to be one of the only light heavyweight prospects that's worth anything. I say give him to a Jan Kutalaba, give him to an Alonzo Menafield. Start to fast-track this guy because we don't have a lot of light heavyweight prospects. The division is kind of old. It's kind of shit at the moment. So the sooner we can get some fucking hyped guys in there, the sooner the division will come back to life. But yeah, it just... incredible performance. Not much to say. We didn't really learn much about him besides he has crazy KO power. So yeah, great fight from Abdul Rahman Yakhayev. Moving on to Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Andrei Pulyev. I assumed Nursultan Ruziboyev was going to KO him just because of the length, just because of the power he's displayed in his last few fights. But, I mean, he's a well-rounded guy, and the grappling that he displayed was very impressive. I think he caught a kick and tripped Pulayev and then worked his way to the back. I could be wrong, but I do remember him catching a kick, stuff like that. And he got to the back and he went for a face crank. And it was tight. It was real tight. But then you could see he adjusted it and got on the side of the neck and wrenched it in. And anyone that's been in that position knows how bad that hurts and how close you can be to going out. And Andrei Pulyev went out. He went to sleep. Incredible performance from Nursultan Ruziboyev. Round one submission. That is, I wrote this down somewhere. I think this is, this was his 26th first round finish. That is ridiculous. He needs to be fighting up towards the rankings soon. That was incredible. I mean, he never belonged at welterweight. He's undefeated at middleweight in the UFC. So I say give him someone close to the rankings in his next matchup, and we could be seeing Nursultan Rusiboyev fighting uh, a ranked guy next 2 fights, max, because he looks to be the real deal at middleweight. Moving on to Genghis Khan Offley versus Javier Reyes. What did I say, dude? I said Genghis Khan Offley was going to win this fight. Everyone was picking Javier Reyes based off of what he did on the Contender Series. I'll admit, I do think I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I picked Khan Offley by decision. But, I mean, he was landing that straight right hand down the middle consistently. I think he landed it like 3 times. And then out of nowhere, he lands it. He puts a little bit of extra mustard on that one and puts down Javier Reyes and then jumps on him and gets the submission. That was just an incredible performance. Khan Offley, I love Khan Offley, dude. I don't know what it is, but like sometimes there's these fighters that are unranked that just catch my eye and I'm like in love with them. Khan Offley, I'm in love with you. You might say pause. I won't, dude. I'd kiss Khan Offley. Maybe that's a little bit too far, but I'm a big fan of Genghis Khan. I want to see him take a little bit of a step up. I don't want him fighting Dana White Contender Series guys next. You know, it's kind of weird. I don't really know who's at featherweight that he could fight. Maybe like Jordan Levitt, who just lost to Joe Anderson Brito, so he needs a bounce back win. So I think maybe that's the performance that would get Khan Offley into the minds of the casual MMA fan. That's the next matchup I'd like. But for Daniil Donchenko and Theodore Berggren, I mean, dude, look at the strike differential. That's what I wanted to highlight. He throws so fucking much. He throws so aggressively, super hard, does not let off the gas at all. We have got a prospect on our hands at welterweight. This guy's just a one-way freight train. And although this was an incredible performance from Daniil Donchenko, he landed a crazy high kick. I mean, he was going to the body. He had Theodore Berggren predicting the body kick and leaning in to block it, and then he went up top, shin to chin, and then followed up with some crazy ground and pound. I don't think he missed a single punch when he went in for the finish. But what I do want to talk about is Theodore Berggren. This kid showed up on short notice, and he put on a pretty good performance, all things considered. I mean, he was obviously losing. He was getting outworked. But Daniil Donchenko looks to be like the real deal. But Theodore Berggren was sticking in it. He was throwing back. He was doing his job. I mean, let's check out round 1. He didn't really get an opportunity to throw much in round 2. But what I do remember is even though Daniil Donchenko hurt Berggren to the body a couple times, he stayed in there. He was very tough. He kept throwing back. I really like him. I don't know what it is. See, this is another one of these moments. How I stuck to Khan Offley is how I'm now sticking to Theodore Berggren. I've got a new guy to watch in welterweight. I hope he gets another fight in the UFC. I hope they don't drop him. He took this fight on short notice and he was game. He came in there to fight. It wasn't like he was just trying to point fight at range. He was there to scrap. So I'm a fan of Berggren. I hope he gets another fight. But great performance from Donchenko. Moving on to Beksat Almakhan versus Jean Matsumoto. Some people crying robbery. That's not true. That's not how that works, dude. I think a lot of people kind of get confused when they look at the scoring criteria and it says damage. Damage isn't like visible damage. It is, visible damage does play a part in it, like cuts, bruises, all that stuff. But if that's the case, then Nate Diaz would have never won a decision, right? What damage is how your opponent reacts to your attacks. Like, if you land a big punch and the guy gets stunned for a second and he takes a step back and he needs to readjust, that is effective damage, okay? Cuts and all that, yes, they have their place, but that's if nothing else is happening. That's if, like, one guy, they have, like, a complete dead even fight and one guy gets cut open. This was not a complete dead even fight. Jean Matsumoto was outlanding him in the second, out-grappling him, just outworking him consistently. And in the third round, he did the same thing. Bekzat Almakhan has this problem where he gasses out in his fights. He does really good in round one, and then his output consistently goes down throughout his fights. Okay? He could have finished this fight in round one, but he didn't do it. And Matsumoto got to work his way back into the fight. I think it was the right decision. I'm a little bit of a fan of Almakhan, all right? I appreciate his fights. He's got good, crazy power for bantamweight. But Matsumoto won this fight, obviously. I don't know how you can... You know why people think Bekzat Almakhan won is because of the visuals. Because he got the knockdown. Because he's the only one that had, like, the crazy big moment in this fight. And that's not how fights are judged. They're not judged off of one moment. Matsumoto consistently outlanded him for 2 rounds. And that gives you the decision in the eyes of the judges. And for Jean Matsumoto, I mean, good win. I think he kind of got screwed in one of his last fights. I don't remember who it was against. It was one of the split decisions, but he got screwed in one of his last fights. So it's good to see the judges are getting it right this time. I want to see him take a nice step up in competition after this one. Moving on to the opener, we had Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. This fight made me visibly angry. I hate Tahir Abdullayev with a passion now. This guy is someone that I dislike and you should dislike as well. Because the first round, he cannot find Nascimento at all. He literally can't touch him. Nascimento is doing his job to a T. He showed up on short notice. He's up a weight class. He cannot play the brawl game. He cannot go power for power against Abdullayev. It's just not how you're going to win the fight. So he stays on the outside, and every once in a while, he comes in with a right hand, tags him. He throws like 1 or 2 punches, and then backs off. And Tahir Abdullayev cannot corner him and cannot get some big shots off. And he's complaining the whole time that the guy's running. Yo, he's not running. He is, like, every once in a while, he's stopping and he's throwing the punches. It's not like he's doing an MVP performance where he's waiting for you to come get him. He will sit down on his punch every once in a while. He was doing that. And then in the second round, which I think was more egregious from Abdullayev, Nascimento started to bring the fight to Abdullayev. He was throwing quite a bit in round 2. Look at that. He outstruck him. He was doing really good in round 2. And Abdullayev would not stop complaining. He's just clapping his hands, turning away, walking away, trying to get the crowd into it or whatever. And it was just super annoying. I don't like it. I mean, if you're mad that a guy's running away from you, I understand that. But if you're just getting, like, outstruck, you don't have, like, a conversation to be mad. You don't have an argument for that. And then in round 3, Nascimento is clearly winning. He's doing his job, dude. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And Abdullayev lands a knockdown, gets on top, and the ref immediately stops it. It was a shit decision for a shit annoying fighter, and that just made me mad. I hope Nascimento comes back at lightweight and gets a W, because I'm a fan of him now, all right? If you get screwed over like that, you just gained a new fan. But I mean, this card was pretty good. I mean, there was a bunch of finishes. There was a bunch of good fights as well. Matsumoto versus Almakhan, I think, deserves fight of the night. Fiziev got a great comeback KO. It was a good night of fights. It wasn't the best name-wise, all right? It's not like the Bilal card that happened a few weeks ago that had a bunch of well-known guys. But, you know, that's sort of what happens. We go through these peaks and valleys in the MMA schedule, where one week we have International Fight Week, and the next week we got Roundtree versus Ankalaev. It's but I like this fight night. I'm happy for Rafael Fiziev. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.